double the distance, more gear shifts, and I just don't want to risk it. So we waited until Zmax opened up. This is actually their third time, their third Friday in a row that they're doing drag racing. Last week was Power Tour. The previous week to that I was working, so I haven't been able to go. I think it rained one too. So finally got a Friday where we're free, and as you guys can see in the passenger seat, we got drag radio, also one in the back. So now that the car's fully loaded up, let's head over to Zmax and see what this thing will do. guys, we're gonna do things a little bit differently today. We normally film these outside, but it's almost 100 degrees outside and the garage is just nasty. So we're just gonna film this inside today. So as a reminder, my best time last year at Zmax was a 12.4 at 122.76. And that was a 60 foot of 2.35. So that was my best time. 12.4 at 122. The first run was a 12.59 at 120.89. The 60 foot was a 2.4. This was not using the two-step. I think I had a decent burnout. And yeah. Oh, and 8th mile was a 8.5 at 88. The second run was a 12.3 at 119. So the mile per hour was down a little bit at 119, but the 12.3 was my best time ever. So first best time of the night. The 60 foot was a 2.1, and the 8th mile was a 8.1 at 87. Run 3 was a 12.23 at 121.5, so 12.2 at 121, so the mile per hour was better. The 60 foot was a 2.3. The 8th mile was an 8.2 at 90. So 8th time wasn't that great, but the mile per hour was higher in the 8th. So the fourth run of the night, I was put into the right lane and I ended up racing another Mustang. This one went a mid-9 at 100, almost 150 miles per hour. So that's the second one of those I've raced this year. This was a different color. So my time was 11.75 at 122.19. So basically 11.7 at 122. That is my best time and first time I've ever been in the 11s in the Corvette. And that's awesome. I'm so ecstatic that we finally got out of the 12s. Last year we ended on a 12.4. This year, on the first time ever going out on the quarter mile, we got it down to 11.75. And now for the rest of the information. The 60 foot was a 2.0. The 8th mile was a 7.75 at 93 miles per hour. That is the fastest 8th mile I've ever done in the Corvette. The SS is a 7.4 at 97. So, but for the Corvette, I've never had less than an 8 gone faster than an 8. So this was a 7.7 at 93. So that was pretty awesome. And now for the last run, you guys might laugh at this, was a 14.2 at 118. 60 foot was a 2.6. The 8th mile was a 10.0 at 83. They had re-prepped the lanes. Like, I was literally one of the first cars to go back down the lanes. And once I hit first gear, you know, the top of first, it just spun. So, like, it spun, and I let it catch up, and I gunned it, and that's how I ended up trapping at 118, almost 120 miles per hour. So that was the 5 runs that I got in. 5th one sucked, but that 11.7 at 122. The trap speed's actually about the same as I was getting last year, but we're finally figuring out the 60 foot, the 8th mile, and all that good stuff. So, we've worked on getting the 60 foots better. That 2.0. I don't know what it is, guys. I cannot get this car below a 2.0. I've been at a 2.0 several times. I've done research. I don't know if I need to turn the RPM up on the two-step. I don't know if I need to lower my tire pressure. It's just a couple things I need to try. And also one thing I could do is actually adjust the suspension, set the rear to full stiff and set the front to full soft, because I've got adjustable coilovers on there. I might try that, but we'll see. So here's the DA for the night. It was almost 3,000. It was very hot. It was like 92, 93 degrees for the high. Another hot summer humid night here in the Carolinas. So, this isn't that DA of 200 that we had for the SS back in April or March, whenever that was. So, not great DA. The Corvette might run better with better DA, but we run into that logistics problem, not having a trailer and being 4 hours from a good track when they're open, when it's not up 93 to 100 degrees out. So now the last bit of information I'm going to give you guys is actually my IAT information. I know I replaced the heat exchanger, I put an ice tank in, and we put that move the battery to the trunk. So the whole purpose of that whole project was to help try to lower IATs. I'm going to show a screen cap now of my data. If you guys look over on the far left, you'll notice that the average temperatures are 10 degrees cooler from the beginning of the run compared to my times on the right. And then the middle column will have the average peak temperature. You know, that's the hottest it ever got. We're about the same in the 170s. Then in the right column is the end, and they're all about 154 degrees, you know, give or take. So we saved, we were 10 degrees cooler in the beginning, you know, average out. We were like 1 or 2 degrees cooler, you know, at the peak, and at the end it was about the same. So, you know, just some food for thought is, you know, we did those upgrades. We got a little cooler IATs. Now, if you guys notice on the left, you'll see that the run where I ran my 11.7, the IAT was starting off was 129 degrees, and finishing was 170, or at the peak was 170. Now that run, I let the car sit for probably 45 minutes to an hour. I was ended up talking with people. So, you know, it sat for a while. I did not run any ice in the ice tank. I didn't swap out the water or anything. And I think my two saving graces were, one, I was able to basically let the car cool down. You know, I didn't put a fan on or anything. This is just how, you know, this was testing tune. I wasn't going to go crazy with experimenting with ice and all that. So I just let the car cool down for an hour, and then when I went for my run, there was literally no line for the drag radial and slick lanes. So I literally went in, parked it, pulled right in, and I went. Like, I had no weights. Like, there was literally no weight in staging anything. So I think that was the other saving grace, was the fact that I let the car cool down, and, you know, I just got that much quicker. So, but overall, guys, you know, this finally proves that the horsepower, the additional 70 horsepower, the E85, the trans, the mounts, the diff, the braces, all that stuff, it seems to have been working pretty well. I really didn't run into much wheel hop. There was a little bit, but not a super ton. But so finally, guys, like, I'm actually happy. I've got a 650 horsepower car in the 11s. Just getting here helped prove a point that, you know, with a little bit more horsepower and a little bit more practice, you can get your times down. Now, if you guys were looking at that chart, my runs, I mean, I systematically improved each time. I mean, I went from a 12.5 to a 12.4, a 12.3, a 12.2, and then all the way down to 11.7. So, and the only difference was really timing, was taking a break. So next time I go out, I think what I'm going to do is start messing around with tire pressure, get some ice, put some ice in the ice tank, and because right now I've just got the premix coolant in there, I could drain that out, put some ice water in there, you know, and really cool the thing down. So those would be the changes that I make for the next time I go drag racing. But it's just, I'm pretty happy. Like, my Mooresville video is kind of like, eh. So before we close this out, I'm going to include a couple minutes of some drifting footage. The guys at Zmax had the left side where we were parked, well, the back half of the parking lot, they had a drift course set up, and I saw some cool, like, LS swapped 240s and BMWs and G35s, Infinities, all the good drifting stuff. So let's check that out. you enjoyed the drifting footage. You know, it's something different for the channel, but I could see me getting into that. But honestly, guys, I'm not tearing up the Corvette, and hell no, I'm not tearing up the SS doing that stuff. I would have to buy a project and get into the whole drift world, but let's figure out drag racing first, and we've got the truck build coming up. So, but like I said previously, this is the last of the Corvette videos for a good long while, and you know, we've got truck projects and SS projects coming up. So stay tuned for that. And if you guys want to help support the channel, click the links below. I've got apparel, stickers, keychains, and car parts for sale. Every one of those sales help support channel by, you know, that money goes right back into the cars, the racing, tires, etc. So, you know, if you guys help support me, I help support you by creating more content. It's just a great circle of YouTube, how this stuff works. So if you guys like the video, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. Oh, and don't forget, click that bell button on the notifications. YouTube's being real weird with their algorithms, and people aren't seeing my videos. So hit that bell notification button, and you'll know when I upload a video. So thanks, guys. Have a great one.